Rick, it's great to see you.
Good morning, Keith. Great to be with you.
Thank you. The title of this show is going to be Allow People to Broaden Your Perspective. So, this past week, I had the great pleasure of being in the operating room with one of our surgeons in cardiac thoracic surgery. Great guy, funny, he's been a surgeon for 30 years. He is, new to Mayo, and he was doing a very complicated surgery. And so our great friend John DeCuna, is so good to me. He made it possible for me to meet this surgeon and spend some time with his colleague. And I went in there for a few reasons, one of which just because I'm so fascinated by everything that John and this surgeon and the whole team at Mayo Clinic do to uh, increase to care for patients, to affect in a very positive way the patient and their families. So I'm always up to learning. And I've been in surgery a lot of times. And for this particular case, I was in there to really assess the environment as well and to really uh, help encourage it to be a place for well-being for the staff. So in addition to caring for the patient, you can also treat everybody really well, while you're there. And this surgeon did a fantastic job of doing that. But when I was in there for this particular surgery, there was a perfusionist in the operating room. Are you familiar with perfusion, Rick?
Yes.
Okay, great. So for those who aren't, it's the functions of the heart, because this was a heart surgery, had to be suspended, and so you have to use technology or machine to actually do the work of the heart. And the person who does that is a very skilled, talented, educated individual called a perfusionist. And so I happened to be in there with one of the perfusionists, and she was fantastic. And she's new to Mayo in the last few years, but I always ask a question to people that work at Mayo: what made you choose Mayo? What made you choose this particular field of work to exercise or demonstrate your talents and your passions? In this case, she told me all of that, but I was asking, I want to know if she was happy at Mayo because I liked her so much and she was just a positive person who lived the Mayo Clinic values. I don't want her to leave Mayo. Like we want people like that to stay. So I was asking, like, tell me about the team. And she told me about the process of coming to Mayo Clinic and interviewing. And she said, well, I did two virtual interviews first, and then I came in person. And then they had a bunch of questions for me. And she studied at a hospital, a famous hospital back in the Northeast. She's worked here in Arizona at other hospitals, but she really enjoys Mayo Clinic. And it's for the team, it's for the culture. One, it's Mayo, but that's secondary. The big reason is the people in her group of perfusionists that she works with that really supports her well-being and feeds her professional satisfaction. And she said that one of the questions that they asked her was that all of the people have in common is they all are married or have a significant other on the team, and they have kids. Additionally, she said that one of the questions they asked her was if she was a pet owner and if she had a dog or a cat. And I was like, why would they ask those kind of questions, right? Like I thought that they were, pretty intrusive. And I'm thinking that, if you have like little kids at home, like that's a negative for the workplace because we do a lot of surgeries. We need people to be available all the time. And that's probably what they're looking for, on call, things like that. And if you had to choose for the pet owner that they're looking for somebody who has a cat because a cat can take care of themselves. It was the opposite of what they were looking for. They wanted somebody that has a family at home because they will prioritize work-life balance and they will support their colleagues and being a good team member to make sure their colleagues are able to get out of work to go to kids' performances and sports events or anniversary or date nights with their significant other. And a pet owner, particularly a dog, is important because the dog needs to be walked and let out. And so they want somebody who has somebody to live for outside of work. And I was like, dude,
Wow.
that supports well-being. And what it meant for me was I remember when I was starting out in my career as a financial planner, and I'm not proud of this, But I hired an administrative assistant, and one of the questions I asked her, I mean, this is back in the early 90s, you can get away with some stuff like this. But one of the questions now you can't ask this question. I was like, I found out she was married, and I said, like, so what's the 5-year plan for you and your husband? What I was really getting at is, are you guys planning on having kids? And if you are, then you're not the person for me because I need somebody to come in here who's going to work 60 to 70 hours like I am to build this business. And she told me, she's like, no, no, we had no plans to start a family for 10 years. I'm like, great. Rick, within 6 months, they were having a family. I was like, I got I got bamboozled here. And but my point was, I had it all wrong. You know, I wanted somebody that, I should have been looking for somebody that had a family, that could teach me the importance of work-life balance. I probably wouldn't have gotten it back then because I didn't have a practice, and I probably would have been resentful that they were not working or slaving as much as I did, but they had it right. They weren't living to work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not how they were living. They were turned on by all life experiences. Work was just one of them. But
Mm,
when they come to work, they bring their full selves to work. They're pouring everything into work. When they're home, they're pouring their whole heart and full being into being home out in the community. That's a person that's balanced, Rick. So I thought that was a really interesting experience that I had this week. And I just wanted the team at Mayo Clinic of these perfusionists in cardiac thoracic surgery. I mean, I like what they're doing. I like how they choose their teammates, and they're very selective. And that really, really resonated with me. As a matter of fact, last week, Brian Hardaway invited one of the perfusionists who I've never met in to come and work out with us. And John knows his perfusionist really well, and John introduced him to the whole group and talked about this is the guy, like this is the man right here that makes it all possible for all of us in cardiac thoracic surgery. And the guy was fantastic. He was a guy probably younger than me by about 10 years, I would say. But he's great shape and he's fit. And we were doing gratitude. We have all these people in ToBeRe who are in the morning. And we go by after as one session ends and another one's beginning, we take a moment for everyone to share something that they're grateful for. And we have this gratitude circle.
mm,
And he was really like overwhelmed in a good way by that we were doing this. He thought he was just come to a workout, but he was like he loved that we were practicing gratitude. And he went on to share that 98% of his time is spent with his family. And
mm,
so when he carves out 2% to do something else, it's no small thing, which was to come and work out with us. So
mm,
that was an honor. But I loved how he prioritized family. I love that. And I don't think I would have gotten it. I would have gotten it without the ToBeRe community and without the practice. So I just wanted to share that with our listeners is when you're looking for people in your life to either work with you or to spend time with, consider looking for people um, whose not values, but their lifestyle and their choices are ones that are representative of what they value in life. I will say what they value in life, and it was just beautiful. What are your thoughts, Greg?
No, Keith, I can't contribute much on that at all. You are responsible for creating the kind of community that others pe feel very, very blessed to be in. And I'm not surprised that your friend who was new to ToBeRe found that that was something unusual, surprising, and wonderful. And I think that's just typical of how you go about your life. And when you're looking for ways to improve yourself and to add to your practice, you're always focusing on other people. And so the topic of the show, this particular episode, has to do with being open to finding different ways of living that kind of community and connection to others. And you're a perfect example of that. What a wonderful life you've got, watching surgeries and being with all these amazing people who have been screened and who are fully actualized. They're doing exactly what they want. It's a wonderful thing. And we're all capable of finding those people in our lives who are able to reflect back to us what's important in life.
Exactly, Rick. I totally agree. And I'll just end with this. When I'm in those spaces, I love learning from the, intellectual side of things. Uh, what I value even more is what these people teach me about living. And
Mm.
that's what they
Mm.
taught me. was about having open mind and open perspective. And I love that it showed me that the way that I was viewing it before um, was missing the mark for what I really wanted in my life. So thanks, Rick. I love you.
I love you, Keith. Thanks for really, really hitting it on the nose. I really appreciate that story. Thank you.
Thank you.